Same-sex marriage, I'm talking about same-sex relationships. Never mind, we can put marriage to stuff. I'm talking about same sexual activity.
In our current constitution, it is banned.
Are you going to lead a campaign?
No, I will not lead a campaign.
Why not?
Those people.
Welcome back to another episode of the Washington SXM podcast. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell to get notified whenever I drop a video. And also, I'm trying to reach to 1,500 subscribers by Valentine's Day, so help the channel out to grow so we can do more videos and bring more knowledge to the masses about Africa as a continent. So they did this. This was a while back, right? They did this interview with the Zimbabwe president, and let's look how they treated him in the interview, the reporter, and the disrespect they did because they want to prove a point. But I like how the president hold firm and explain his stance. So let's get into it.
This is the new constitution. In the past, we had no limit terms of leadership in the country. But the current constitution, which came into effect on the 22nd of May 2013, gives the limits. Maximum is 2 terms for any president, and I'll abide by that.
So let's not count this term. Let's say you stand for election. Let's say you've got another term. You could be president for the next, what, 5-10 years?
It's only 10 years. The first term.
See the disrespect?
Then another term is for 5 years. If I win the elections, that's the basis of how one becomes leader.
And you've already pledged to allow independent monitors from the African Union, from the European Union, and from others to come and monitor the elections.
Absolutely. I have said that this time around, we are going to have fair, free, and credible elections. And to do so, you must open the space for people to come and observe. That is our region, the continent, the EU, and other member states of the United Nations who apply to come and observe our.
I know you're busy with time, and I have a couple of areas I just need to dwell on.
Stick up in. You see, the disrespect he did, the reporter did just now. He know Zimbabwe presidents can only serve for 2 terms. Each term is 5 years. Just like in France is 5 years, and well, America is 8, but the other countries, most of them is 5 years, 10 years. And you hear how he's saying, oh, not counting this term, if he's gonna rule for the next 10 years. He's implying he's gonna change the rules to keep himself in power. That's what they do when it comes to the African president. They're so disrespectful. He know this. So why are you implying to you in this interview that the man is gonna change the rules to keep himself in power? And the man just tell you it's only for 10 years. 5 years each term, and he said he only served 2 terms. He's in his first term. You see the disrespect of these reporters too when it comes to African leaders. But I like when they stand whenever they stand firm and stand tall, they demonize them, like President Mugabe, sorry about the noise, the president of Rwanda, and a couple of others. But let's continue with this one first.
On the question of human rights, on the question, for example, of same-sex rights, never mind same-sex marriage or anything like that might be in the future, so, for want of a better word, gay rights, the overturning of laws against homosexuality. Can you promise me today that you will do that?
Who is you?
I'm a constitutionalist. The current provision in the constitution forbids same-sex marriages, and I uphold that until that issue in our country is not an issue of the political party.
Not same-sex marriage, I'm talking about same-sex relationships. Never mind, we can put marriage to stuff. I'm talking about same sexual activity.
In our current constitution, it is banned.
Are you going to lead a campaign?
No, I will not lead a campaign.
Why not?
Those people who want
check his tone, the disrespect.
Who must canvass for such things so that if they are able to win majority in amending the constitution, they would amend it. But it's not my duty on that issue to say I want to campaign for this. No.
Of course it is your, with respect, Mr. President, of course it's your duty.
Not respect.
It's your duty to uphold human rights.
Stick up in. He's calling the president. The man tell you it's not in the constitution. It's forbidden. It's illegal. So why you forcing this issue? Oh, same-sex marriage? No, that's for the future. That means he's not he's still saying it's gonna be happening in the future. The man tell you, the Constitution states it's forbidden. I'm supposed to finish there. What human rights are talking about? And this is what Westerners, Americans, because he's an American, or English, English, I think it's English. These are the people like to force their beliefs on African countries, and they have nothing to do with you. You don't live there. So why are you so interested in putting these things into Africa that's not part of, that's your culture, that's not African culture? That knocking, why don't you stop the knocking?
Rights as recognized by the United Nations, and as
It is my duty. It's my duty to obey my constitution.
Correct.
I would not be persuaded to violate my constitution.
Yeah, you don't want to persuade them, man.
Currently, my constitution says what I have said, but the constitution does not forbid people with different opinions. They must canvass with the opinions which they have.
So I'm asking for your opinion,
Well, see
both
that,
as
see
a
that?
man and as president.
Disrespectful.
Are you in
Raising his
favor
voice.
of changing the constitution on that issue?
No, I am not. It's never a priority in Zimbabwe to deal with that issue. During 2013, when everybody was able to canvass, those who canvassed for that position lost it. We go by the majority view of our people. And currently, the majority view is what I am stating.
So you keep Zimbabwe in a different age. Never mind same-sex marriage, but in an age when the European Union, the United States, Australia recently enacted same-sex marriage, and pretty much, your country
I don't think that
is in a very small minority.
I don't think with my priorities today, I would grow my economy, right? Increase the standard of life of my people, putting that as a priority. Our priority now,
Stick up in. You can see the reporter body language as if he's calling the president. He's telling him what to do. He's been very, very unprofessional and disrespectful. Because they don't talk to Western presidents like that. He wouldn't talk to American president or the Prime Minister of England, of Canada, or the Prime Minister of England. He would never speak to them like that. But this pointing and raising his voice and over talking the president and leaning forward, that's a dominating gesture. But let's see how, and he's there. I don't know why they're pushing this gay narrative. They have gay rights people in Zimbabwe, but they lost elections. So what that mean? Majority rules. They don't want that. So why are you still going against democracy? That they say they want democracy, but yet when the democracy doesn't go their way, it's an issue. That's how they will.
Is to embrace the international community and say Zimbabwe is open for business. Let people who want to invest in Zimbabwe say this is what they want, these are the constraints they see, and this is what I believe is necessary for us to go to catch up with some of the developing countries in our world. In our region.
One more on this. I venture to disagree.
You won't leave that topic alone.
That's democratic.
Surely, by changing, whether it's on women's rights, gay rights, whatever rights it is, human rights, surely by changing those,
See that? You see that lean forward?
You want message that you're not just interested in money coming in.
See the disrespect? I think the money is basically telling the money is a bitch.
Creating an equal environment for all. Surely that's a much more powerful message than just asking for a bit of extra foreign direct investment.
When that punch in his
It's
mouth.
not a question of having dollars in Zimbabwe. It's a question of development. We must have functional railway systems in our country. We must have functional infrastructure in terms of highways and so on. We must have functional manufacturing sector in the country. I must modernize and mechanize my agriculture in Zimbabwe. I must have a developed mining sector in Zimbabwe. These are the things, as far as I'm concerned, are the issues which my people look at for government to address and facilitate for their development, so that we catch up with members of the region.
So let's stop it. So it's the little Bumble Hole reporter. Basically trying to scold him and his country. Oh, he basically telling him, man, oh, you should change the constitution and include gay rights. He can't change the constitution by himself if the people don't want it. And this is Africa as a whole. It's not an African culture. These gay rights and same-sex marriage are pushing. This narrative they're pushing again. They are forcing on people. You see, the president said they had an election, and those who was for it lost election. So that's a democratic. That's what democracy works. So if you lose, why are you gonna keep come back and keep pushing this narrative that yes, you should change it anyway, even though the majority of the country don't want that. But he's not talking about the economy or nothing else. Well, most of the economy is what help countries are education, nothing like that. He only basing and check out any interview with any African president. That's what they always lead the conversation to. It's always about gay rights and same-sex marriage. In every single interview about any presidents, that's what they did. That's why they didn't like President Mugabe. That's why they don't like the president of, I keep forgetting his name, the president of Rwanda. And Zimbabwe, they never liked Zimbabwe presidents because Mugabe is from Zimbabwe as well. And Ghana president too, Nigerian president. Most of the presidents, they don't into the gay rights because it's not the priority. It's just not. People have way more things to deal with than housing, electricity, running water, developing the country, internet, all these things. But they're gonna stick on this one gay thing and try to and then they're gonna try to demonize the president and then say, oh, they are not for human rights. And who is America or England or Canada or any other Western countries to tell anybody about, to scold anybody and then come on to human rights? They have the most human rights thing, the most human rights they do. Especially in America, they do the most things to black people as a human. As a wait, black people is not a human right then, because they claim black people left, right, and center. In all these countries, they are attacked more, they are in prison more, they're not put in places of power. Well, sometimes it's not, this is not on racism. I'm talking about human right, because they don't see black people as educated. Some of these white people, even though we have the most, we first started writing books. We first started to make civilization, making home, designing cities, palaces, art, poetry. We were the first to do all these things, and then they come and rob it from us, and then try to hide it from us and say, no, they're the ones who bring it to us. And people still think like that. They like this reporter think he can scold a president of a country. He's wagging his finger at and being aggressive and trying to have this dominating presence over him. You see, that's why I like to watch these interviews, because it proves a point that they don't care about the country. They just want to impose their own narrative. And then they're going to go on back into their country now and put this interview on the national news and say, oh, he's against human rights. And that's how they do it. They start by smearing them and then try to come in, destabilize the economy, and then to steal whatever resources the country has. And that's what they do throughout history. Anyway, hope you learned something today, because that's my goal, for you to learn something every day, every video. So keep it up, people. Keep doing your own research on Africa and stop listening to the Western media. You don't know what it is. It's the Washington SSM podcast. Peace, one love. Boom.